Welcome to Shift Happens, the podcast where change meets clarity. I'm your host, Jeff Edwards, and each week we chat with experts who know what's next so you can stay sharp, speak with confidence, and drive tomorrow's growth today. Wherever you're listening from, the car, the gym, or your morning grind, this is more than a podcast. It's insight, it's momentum, it's your edge. It's time to make Shift happen. I am really excited about this episode. I personally have been looking forward to this one for a long time. Today, I'll have Fred Farges, who is the Senior Director of the Global Partner Incentive Program and a key architect of the profitability component, Cisco Partner Incentive, with the launch of Cisco 360 coming up. We're going to jump into where we've been, where we are today, and where we're going. And I can't wait to start this conversation. So we're going to jump right in. Fred, where does this podcast find you today?
Well, really well, and very happy to be here today. So super excited to be with the team. I know we have a lot of exciting topic to discuss, so let's go into it.
I can't wait. This is widely anticipated, and just excited to really bring this story and really the reality of what we're doing to our partners and to our teams. But before we do that, Fred, there may be some people listening that don't know you as well as I do. Tell me a little bit about you and your story.
Maybe easily to start. So you probably recognize the accent, right? So I'm Fred,
North Carolina,
working from.
South Carolina? Oh,
Well,
no.
exactly. So
Yeah.
definitely not. You need to cross a couple of, let's say, sea to get there. So I'm French, living in Germany for many years now, and actually, often I'm getting the question, why Germany? And I just follow love, right? So my wife is German, and I used to work in France, and then moving to Germany. And for 2 years now, I'm part of the global partner organizations. Super happy to lead one of the most complex topic, which is a partner incentive and part of the Cisco 360 design team. So really, really excited about what we're doing at the moment and all the changes we're bringing on the market.
Yeah, there are a couple things that will move us from one place to another. One is the paycheck, but I've always found love tends to be a bigger driver of all of that. So
It is definitely a big one, yeah.
exciting. Well, tell me this: if we were if we were making a movie about your career, Fred, what would the opening scene be for that movie?
Oh, that's a good one. I think if I'm thinking about the common themes in my career, it has been always about driving change and transformational change, stepping into the unknown, and really taking a topic, starting to understand what it means and how we can drive the transformation at that scale. So if you want to think about a movie and an opening scene, it's probably like a action adventure movie. I grew up in the 80s, so that will be probably similar to one of the first Indiana Jones, if you want to picture that. So, me jumping in a topic, starting to go into exploring phase, like he's doing in the jungle, and then finding the treasure and bringing it back home. So that's what I like to do, actually, really driving at the forefront, driving something that never people have done before, and really excited about the transformation. So that's a bit of what I'm doing. And I really get the energy and the adrenaline by bringing the team along, bringing our partners. And I think we'll discuss a lot about the partnership with our partners today into that one. So yeah, that's a way to picture, I would say,
That
my
is,
opening scene.
I have not thought about Cisco 360 quite in the same way that I will now, Fred. And I think if they were casting the leading figure to really deliver 360 and our Cisco partner incentive, you're the right player. So love it. Thanks for playing along with that. And yeah, I want to jump right in. And before we get into 360, there's always the what came before that, or what did that world look like? So do me a favor. Um, I think most people listening understand that Cisco's had a very, very successful partner program for a number of years. Take us into that partner program. What are the things that worked about it? What are the things that partners really liked? And just maybe bring us into where we came from first.
Yeah, so very good one. So let me start about where we're coming from. So Cisco took a decision a few decades ago to commit to the channel. And that's what started to ground every decision the partner organizations, the partner incentive, and the partner teams were driving. So where we're coming from is a world where we used to have different partner programs and partner incentive. And partner incentive is what I'm focusing on, really driving the conversation with our partners. So if you look back, like VIP We are currently in the VIP 46. We had one VIP every 6 months, meaning VIP is 23 years old. CSPP has been launched more than 15 years ago, and we have a set of other incentives that has been created in the last decade as well. So if you think about it, when we created VIP 23 years ago, I was not even Cisco, but the company was very different than what it is. And one of the big factor was hardware and technology excellence, which we still have today. But we added so many more things, like obviously from a portfolio perspective, we added as well the importance of the software, the move towards software, the move towards customer adoption. So these are the big themes that we have seen coming up and emerging in the recent years. If you think about services, it's all and used to be all about break and fix. Technical support, we ship a product, we just want to have the technical support. But fast forward as well, the world we're living in nowadays is a very different world. Technical support is changing drastically. AI is changing the way we're supporting our customers. So you will see a lot of changes happening. And the result of that is we just need to address the changes of the market reality we're in. So this legacy incentive has been great to supporting us there, but moving forward, we just need to change some of the key elements. Otherwise, we'd just be outpaced by market and the competition, and therefore not serving our customers the way we want to.
And you went right where I wanted to go, but I just wanted to maybe reiterate that for 20 plus years, our partners have been front and center, and that doesn't change. They
Correct.
continue to be front and center. Matter of fact, 90+% of our business on any given quarter is typically through partners. And so they're the most important part of the machine that is Cisco. And so changing is hard, especially something that's been successful for so many years. You mentioned a few of them, but what are some of the either market forces, technology changes, or, and you mentioned software, changes to Cisco's business model that started to ring an alarm that we need to something it's working, but if we want to get to where we all want to go, something needs to change. What are some of those? Bring us into that a little bit.
Yeah, I can give you, I would say, two or three examples. The first one is software. I would start with that one. If you look at the Cisco book we just published recently, 54% of our business revenue is actually subscription. And if you think about a subscription, it's all about renewing the contract, growing growth on the contract, and the customer adoptions of what the customers are purchasing, because subscription comes very often with a lot of software features and services features, is super important. So driving customer adoption is one of the big changes. The second element, and we keep hearing every single day, is AI. AI is changing the way customers are consuming technology. We do see a rapid innovation happening. Pretty much, if you take an AI model that used to be 6 months ago, is very different than what it is today. And I can promise you that in 6 months down the road, AI will come with new disruptions. So we need to think about customer technology. We need to think about the role of AI for our partners and for our customers on the way it's changing. So we need to direct our partner incentive towards AI and helping our partners to make the transformations toward AI. And that's a big change because, like you mentioned, partners used to have great optimization about everything they were doing around the VIP, around the CSPP, and the other incentive. And suddenly you're asking them to say, these skills are very important and keep them as foundations, but we need you to develop new skills. It's almost like going to the gym where you know you're not really super fit for the new model and you need to put some time going to the gym every single day and to drive this new behavior. So that's what we are starting to do here and driving the conversation with our partners.
Fred, I got to say, like, first of all, it's a little bit it's a little bit freaking me out. I think you've seen me walk into the basketball gym at the building I live in the morning and see those young guys playing, and I'm like, I might need to put some work in before I decide to jump into that game. And it's interesting because on one hand, the street and the market loves recurring revenue. They love subscription revenue because you don't have to go make that number every quarter. A good chunk of your number is already made. But then you bring us to the next piece of this, which is the opportunity around AI, the opportunity around our business shifting to recurring and subscription comes with a change that our legacy programs couldn't solve for, because even though you have recurring revenue, if you're not driving adoption and expansion, then at the end of that, we know what happens. It's not good from a discount level, what you have to do. It's not good from a retention level. And so, are there any other, I guess, inflection points that, or maybe call out where that legacy program, because I know VIP specifically, um, really good, as you mentioned, for 23 years, but in order to drive growth, that legacy program wasn't really aligned. But maybe bring that to light a little bit for us.
Yeah, and I think VIP has been always focusing on partner mindshare and driving customer and technology adoption. It has been excellent in that one. So we put all the new technology into that program. But actually, if we look at our incentive, we were never rewarding partner growth as well. And that's one of the fundamental elements when you think about Cisco 360 with some of the performance metrics. When you look at the new incentive we're putting, it's all about growing together with our partners. And that's as well an element we're making from a transformation perspective. So really driving the level up, like you talk about your analogy with the basketball field, is exactly that, is being sure that we are fit in the play field and we're able to motivate our partners every single day. So we do see a big transformation on that aspect as well, that we will reward more and more the partners that are growing faster in the market with us.
I love the analogy, and I'm glad that you're leading this and can move it quicker than I'm getting ready for that basketball game. But yeah, that's it. It's a great point, and I guess if we were to shift gears now, um, so really clear understanding of where we've been, the legacy of Cisco's partner program, some of the changes and inflection points that are driving the evolution of that program. But as we look back a year and a half ago, um, there was one key decision. There was probably a million key decisions, Fred, and you were in the middle of most of those. But there was one key decision that was made that we weren't going to do this alone. We weren't going to come up with all the answers and tell our partners this is how it's going to be. We made what is, and keep me honest here, what I think is the only time in the industry at this scale that a company like Cisco has communicated to our partner ecosystem that we're going to evolve our partner program and ask for them to be a part of that evolution every step of the way in terms of their feedback. So, walk me through that because I believe that's really unique and I believe it's important to the story.
It's extremely important, actually. So, if you think about it, we have over 30,000 partners in the marketplace transacting and working every single day with Cisco. Launching a partner program without checking with our partner community. And again, we're very committed to the channel, like we were discussing at the beginning. That's one of the ground elements that underpin everything else. So launching a partner program and a partner incentive without checking with our partners would be very, very dangerous. And Cisco is not like that. So we really took a decision very consciously to engage on different forum and platform with all the partners across the globe. So we collect feedbacks, we collect design ideas, we hear them out, we modify some of the design as well based on their feedback. But we had a constant engagement from every single partners, from small to large partners, from technology partners to adoption partners and the like, across the entire spectrum of what we are delivering. So this is actually fairly unique. And we got a lot of feedback from our partners to say we are one of the few, if potentially the only one, doing it at scale across the entire ecosystem. So yeah, I think that was very conscious decisions and we're super happy about we took that decision. Simply the fact that without them, we'd not be able to be where we are today. So we keep engaging with them. And even after the launch in February 2026, we'll keep engaging with them to fine tune, evolve, and so forth. So the constant engagement with partners is front and center. Absolutely.
And because the reality is, like, we'll get to this, I'm sure, but with something like life cycle, we think about, what I always talk to my team about is the sales journey starts when the contract's signed. It doesn't end there. And it's the same with this program. That's what I'm hearing you say. And is not only did we need that partner feedback, but we will continue to do it because we will continue to need to evolve and align to the market and the opportunity. And it really does line up really well with something that I I, I say a lot, and I've heard Cisco say through this process is our intent has always been to get it right, not to be right. We could have launched a program and said, here's what it is, and been stubborn and not listen to our partners say you missed it here or there, right? But the idea was to get it right. And one of my other favorite quotes is James Clear with Atomic Habits. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so if if the most important part of this evolution was to get partner feedback and buy-in on this shared journey together, that's a goal. The systems to get that feedback become really important. And I know that was a key piece of what you did. So walk us through some of those feedback mechanisms that we had in place that allowed us to really get intimate feedback from our partners, not one to 1,000 sitting in a room, but sometimes one on one, where we really got that intimate feedback. Walk me through that.
Yeah, so we did various platform, obviously, to engage with our partners during the last 15 months, pretty much since we announced the evolution of the partner incentive and program. We did some one-on-one sessions for sure, so engaging with a variety of partners, like I was mentioning, small to large, and doing some design sessions. So showing them, for instance, from an incentive perspective, collecting them the feedback, sharing notes about what we would like to do and what is important for them. And sometimes it's interesting because when you do these sessions, you realize some of the things is super important for them that we never really consider. And it could be actually very simple for us to implement. So that's the type of things you can really discover in one-on-one sessions. Then we did some working group with peers partners and bringing some partners together and working on a specific topic and having them to brainstorm with us a couple of ideas and reporting back to Cisco. So we are stating a problem statement, giving them a couple of directions, what we are thinking, and then they were iterating on that one. And then we are doing pretty much over a year now, constant engagement monthly with, I would say, 80 to 100 partners on a very frequent basis. So it's not something you do one off, basically. So every single month, you keep engaging, reiterating, collecting the feedback, validating some points, and moving forward. And that's what we have done, and we keep doing, even if we're close to the launch. So we keep doing that because we know it's super important. Now, doing so means way more work for the program team in charge of designing Cisco 360 and the Cisco partner incentive. So when we took the commitment to go with our partners and to really engage, like we are saying, is design for partner by partners, it's really something we mean because it really requires a very profound change mindset in our side and being able to listen to our partners, getting the tough discussion upfront, collecting the feedback, acting on that feedback, and keeping iterating on that process.
Yeah, you hit on something, and it's, by partners for partners. That's not a tagline.
It's
And
not.
it's not an easy journey because sometimes you get feedback you don't want to hear. But the most important part is to take that feedback and then start to make changes to be better together. And as my wife would say, yeah, like, I heard you, Jeff, you said you were listening, but you're not doing anything, right? And so, but I know that's not the case in this program. There was a number of things that were specifically as a result of partner feedback. Can you share a couple of examples of where the program has evolved over the last 12 months and changes have been made because of specific partner feedback?
Yeah, so let me give you a very simple one on the partner program, and then I will talk about the incentive itself. On the program, one of the key elements at the beginning was around what we are calling the competence with the black belt and being sure that we have different and recognized on the black belt, we have different type of partners from very small partners to very large. And initially our thinking was to say, we are going to put some requirements regardless of the type of the partners globally. And we realized that requirement was okay for very large partners, but actually not at all okay for the smallest one. The smallest one partners were just telling us, hey, I just don't have enough people to do all the training Cisco is requesting. So we started to implement this notion of t-shirt size to look at certain requirements based on the size of the business and actually makes sense to do it that way. So that's one example, for instance, that was very visible when we were designing the Cisco 360 partner program. On the incentive itself, a couple of things that came up very easily from the partners was predictability. Partners wants to have predictability, so that's one of the key elements, and I can double click on that one. But they want to have an incentive that is easy to understand, predictable for them, because the incentive is used as a rebate for many of these partners to reinvest back in the relationship of Cisco. So getting a path where they understand how much money they would make with us is actually a path where they can commit to reinvest back in the relationship of Cisco. And therefore, that becomes a very good circle because they have the predictability, they can invest more in Cisco, they get the money, they see the result and the growth in the market, and they invest more and more. So that's exactly the type of things we are doing. So again, these elements, sometimes they can be small, sometimes they can be much more significant, but we always took their feedback. And these are very simple examples I'm giving here, but we have tens and tens of feedback that we have collected during the course of the year.
Yeah, and it leads me to the intersection of the past, the present, and the future, and that all happens about January 25th, I believe, Fred. And if I'm a partner, what should I expect to be familiar on January 25th when Cisco 360 and the Cisco Partner Incentive launches? And what are the things that I'm gonna see that are different?
I think from what is changing, and where I will probably start with what is not changing. So what is not changing is the full commitment to the partner landscape I was mentioning, the full visibility that we build up during the last year around the PXP platform in terms of metric visibility, what is called partner value index. All of that is staying, and it's really a solid foundation. From an incentive perspective, what is not changing is the logic. And I was coming from one of the sessions, partner loves VIP because it's very predictable. So what we're expanding on the VIP, which is for the product side, we're going to do it for the services side. So the logic behind, for instance, giving them some clear rebate and earning rebate per Cisco offers is something they really appreciate. And we just communicated, we're back from Partner Summit. So it was just a couple of weeks ago. We just communicated to all the partners globally what will be the earning in CPI. So that's something which is very pragmatic and not changing compared to what they are used to it. So that's one thing. What is actually changing? Well, probably the biggest change I would say for the partners is now we're focusing per technology. That's this notion of PVI we were discussing earlier on, where partners need to perform per technology like networking, security, collaboration, and so forth. And based on the result of their performance and their partner value index in this technology, they have access to the incentive. While compared to the past, they used to have an incentive covering everything, regardless of their performance, I would say, in one technology. So that's a significant change for the partners as well. So we're asking them to be really good in technology. And if they're really good in that technology, they unlock the incentive compared to the past, again, that was open to everything they were selling, regardless of their performance. So that's a change. They appreciate the change because that gives them room actually to stay focused on Cisco technology, that give them room as well to grow their business if they want to start to open a new franchise with us. So that's a model they actually appreciate as well.
And I think it, from my perspective, it allows for differentiation for our partners. If you're a world-class security partner or world-class AI and data center partner, you have the ability to show that expertise. But on the flip side, if you're a partner who has a high degree of expertise across multiple, that will be shown as well in this new model. And that's the part that I think I really like is it allows you this program really meets you where you are and allows you to differentiate and grow your relationship with Cisco and your customers based on that expertise. And so now we're at January 25th. And so talk to me a little bit about what will be true on that launch day in terms of the incentive and the structure of the incentive, the eligibility in terms of what tier you're in. Talk to me a little bit about what's true on January 25th for our partners.
All right. First and foremost, something which is important to understand is January 26th, we are closing VIP, we are closing CSPP, but all the partners that um, have still booking an annuity in this legacy incentive will still be paid actually on this old
Okay.
incentive. I'm flagging it because it's free cash for all the partners across the globe. So everything they're doing right now on CSPP and VIP around what is called annuity, this long-term contract, 2 years, 3 years,
Yes.
they will still get paid by Cisco. And I think that's one of the unique element as well that is really important for the partners is whatever you're doing right now, Cisco has your back. Well, we'll pay you the remaining, what is called remaining performance obligations on all these annuities. So that's one thing important. What is true as well when we switch on Cisco partner incentive is like we are mentioning, the partners will have all the informations about the rebate. It has been already calculated and communicated to them. So they can start to make an assumptions about how much money they will make. And based on this track and eligibility, they are able already day one to accrue their rebate. And the reason I'm flagging it is this is an incentive which is much easier for them to calculate and to anticipate. So as a result, they will be able to see how much they will be able to earn starting day one. And every single week, you will see an accrual process in the platform PXP, their partner portal, and they will be able to see how much money they are entitled to collect and manage. So that is something super interesting, and we're very happy about it. Is the level of transparency we're giving to the partners. And the second thing I wanted to talk about is we're going to give to the partners visibility in terms of PXP about where they can earn more money with us. So that's this notion of white space analysis, showing them customer by customer what are the opportunities. If they position a net new technology, they can actually earn more money on that one. So that's the visibility we want to give to every single partners.
And I love that. So just so you know, I'm gonna have Patrick from the PXP team on in a week or two, and he can talk. Not only are we going to give visibility, but we're going to infuse AI in to be able to give
Correct.
a guided journey to our partners. And then I guess the last thing that I would ask is, and I think it's important as far as what's true. We're talking specifically around the partner incentive program, but part of what leads to that payout is their status inside of the Cisco 360 program in terms of the partner value index. And we're in the initial measurement period as we speak today. If a partner's earned, for instance, preferred status in this initial measurement period, you mentioned predictability being really, really important, and especially when you launch something that is new and has new elements. Talk to me about the level of predictability for those partners as they enter the new program from this initial measurement period and what they can expect that'll help them drive predictability.
I think there is a couple of things here indeed. So the first one is whoever is preferred, so uh, per technology, like we're discussing earlier on, is secure to stay preferred until July 2027
Hold
calendar.
on.
S-
You said
So
27?
that's I did say 27. So that's
Wow.
18 months from where we
Okay.
speak today. And I don't know any other vendor in the industry putting so much, let's say, visibility and transparency to the partners. The result of that is obviously they have access to the brand we were discussing. They have access to the marketing material associated to that brand. But equally important, they are secured with the highest level of rebate Cisco is going to give them for the next 18 months, if you want. So when we talk about giving predictability to partners, giving them the insurance right now to say, whatever you're doing, the moment you qualify as a preferred, you will remain Cisco preferred until July 2027. So that's a huge element in terms of managing and driving predictability on the rebate. So I think that that's very important for all the partners in the audience. And I would say it's not only preferred, but think about our smaller partners that starting their journey with Cisco and they are portfolio, for instance, which is the level one level down. If they are portfolio partners, same story. They are secured to be portfolio partners until July 2027. And as a result, they will earn as well a rebate in Cisco Partner Incentive. So as you can see, it's all about driving predictability for both our smallest partners, but as well our very large partners with multiple, let's say, technology preference.
And I love that. I think it's so powerful. And the image that came to my head, Fred, when you were describing this is if we were scaling a mountain together, um, we're going to give a really solid base camp for those partners on where they enter the program to continue to aspire and to gain capability. And that takes me to the next topic. If you were coaching and giving our partners advice on the levers that they have inside of the Cisco 360 program to not only enter it, But we know that that's just the starting point. We're going to continue to evolve and work with the teams to build out practices and optimize different pieces and continue to build capabilities. Talk to me a little bit about what the most important levers are that not only will lead to the preferred or portfolio status, but just as importantly, will materially impact the profitability and the payouts and the rebates that our partners get. So give us the keys to that kingdom, if you will, Fred.
Yeah, the keys to the kingdom, I would say it starts with what we are calling the competence, right? So the partners taking the training. We started our discussion with Black Belt as an example. So the partners getting the capabilities we need on the market is super important. So that's the first element they can start to work. The drive after that, all the certification and specializations, especially if they are a preferred partners, that give room for extra rebate. But the starting with the competence is extremely important. The next one, and remember what I was mentioning, 54% of our business revenue is actually subscription. So positioning buying programs, positioning premium services is one of the key elements of success moving forward. The partners that will be able to sell buying programs like enterprise agreement or selling the premium services offering will be well positioned in the market. And as a result, will be well rewarded in the Cisco partner incentive. So that's the second one. And I would say the third one, I talk a lot about customer adoptions, is all about generating a life cycle practices. So being sure that after the deal is closed and the customer is starting to get the product, it's all about driving the customer outcome. Now, what I realize is some of the partners, including our own Cisco sales team, don't necessarily focus on that aftermath. And we do see the importance of driving customer adoptions during the pre-sales, not after the product has been sold. So it's a pre-sales activities to understand what the customer is going to use from a technology perspective, and therefore how the partner can help them out. And in return, they will be able to maximize their rebate. So these are the three main ones. So focusing on your capabilities and competence, driving buying program and premium services, and the last one, focusing on the lifecycle of adoptions. If a partner is doing these three things, they will have super strong result in partner value index, and in return, they will be really well positioned in terms of Cisco partner incentive rebate.
And what I love about that is one, as you focus on your capabilities, it allows you to deliver deeper outcomes to the customer, which drives incremental relevance. If you're adopting and really driving buying programs, one, you're meeting customers now where they're at and helping them consume the technology in the way they want to. And I would even throw in something like managed services when it comes to buying programs and the way that our customers want to consume and get outcomes delivered. And then that last piece, life cycle. So making sure that the customer's not buying routing and switching anymore. They're buying outcomes. That's what they expect. And our ability to deliver that comes down to this life cycle motion. And what I think is wonderful about all this is all of these are not lagging indicators, they're leading indicators. By doing these, not only are you is your chance of success going way up, but here's the other thing, so does your profitability. When you do things like managed service and life cycle, your gross margin goes up 2 to 3x in those engagements. And so I think it's not only good for this program, but more importantly, it's good for the overall health and profitability of our partners. And I'm looking forward to going on this journey with our partners. And that leads me to really the the last piece of this is when when we think about how this evolves, um, just like I look back at Cisco and 4 or 5 years ago, it felt like a different place at Cisco, right? Because we were going through the transition of being primarily a hardware product focused company into that 54% of recurring revenue. And while you know the things that need to be done, you can't do all those things on day one. There is an element of not disrupting the business. And so maybe at a high level, Fred, take me through where we start and then where we're going in terms of the rebate, the way the rebates paid out, the importance of different pieces from the launch until as we get, 12, 18 months into it. And I know that that will all evolve based on this journey with our partners, but at a high level, maybe take us into that.
Yeah. So the first thing first is all the incentive structure is focusing on what G2 from a technology perspective or chief product officer, and these are head of CX and services wants to put on the market. Meaning we have a 100% alignment between our go-to-market strategy and obviously our partner, which is super important because if I'm looking at the previous incentives, some of the incentives were not necessarily super aligned with that one. So this is a first element where we will keep the alignment from the highest level of Cisco in terms of strategy down to the partner incentive. But the evolution over time, I would say one key element, and I'm super proud of, and I will start with that one, is predictability we talk about. If you think about your paycheck you get during the first round of CPI that we're going to launch, 90% of your paycheck should come with what you're doing best, which is selling Cisco. So our partners that are selling the Cisco technology, 90% of their rebate should actually come from selling our technology and our services. Then you have 5% to drive customer adoption. And you can say, well, Fred, you tell me 54% of our business is subscription and you're only giving 5% in terms of adoption. That's a bit low. And the reason we are doing that is we want to focus first on giving the predictability of the model, being sure that the partners earn with us, and then we will start to raise the bar in terms of adoption. So adoption starts small, and the 5% remaining is actually on customer growth. Over time, 90% on land, 95% on adopt, 5% on grow, we will start to make more money in terms of adoptions. And the reason we want to do that is simply to acknowledge the fact that if you think about AI, if you think about the security marketplace, you talk about managed services, it's all about driving customer outcome with our customers. So that's super important that we focus more and more money from the incentive in terms of the adoptions. So that will be one of the elements where over time we shift more money into this adoption pot. Now, we already started for the partners that can look at it. Our budget on adoption is twofold in the last 2 years. So we increased the focus already, but we keep doing it over time more and more simply because customer adoption is super important. And the next one, potentially in terms of evolution of the program, we talk a lot about at Partner Summit, this next generation specialization, which is refocusing the partners on bringing the one Cisco story together. When you think about the technology and you think about another one, you combine them, you have better outcome. Like secure AI infrastructure is a good example. It's not only about AI. You don't have AI without security, so it's all about that. And we're going to put more and more of these, let's say, innovations in the market. And as a result, the partners that are taking these specializations will be able to earn more rebate in the future. So I'm just giving you two examples over there. One is a static one where we will over time put more and more money in terms of driving customer adoptions. And the second one is linked to what we're doing in the marketplace with the next generation specializations, where we just want to recognize the transformations and the fact that technology alone is less important than what it used to be. It's all about the customer outcome we are discussing. And to bring this customer outcome is about bringing the one Cisco story together. And we're super happy about it. The partners and the feedback is really, really positive on that as well.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I think just the acknowledgement of we can't do this overnight, and so providing that steady ramp of embracing adoption, and we do that together. We don't just jump in and hope we get there. We provide that steady ramp for us to evolve together, but then recognizing the opportunity in the marketplace, and this one Cisco platform becomes really powerful as AI embeds itself in everything that we do, and everything around technology and security becomes more complex. The ability to deliver an outcome to a customer with our partners on a single platform is really only something that Cisco and our partners can do. And it leads me back to, I guess I'll just kind of recap the conversation, and that is we have from day one been a partner first company, and we will continue to be. That's evident. I'll reinforce that with this co-design element that is so unique and has been such a journey together, and I think has brought us closer to our partners, to be fair. I think we've had to lean in so that we can get this right, but it puts us at an intersection of this inflection and opportunity that AI represents, along with everything else you talked about. And the comfort that I have, Fred, is that maybe not to the scale of AI, but network transformation and evolution has been going on for all of those 20 plus years. And we've delivered that network transformation together with our partners time after time. And I can sense our customers looking to us again, and we're ready to meet that moment. And this program is purpose built and fit to meet that moment with our partners. So I just really appreciate you coming on, Fred. And before I let you go, I would love to ask you a question. It's a fun thing that I love to do, and I'm a firm believer that we all have a superpower or two, and it becomes the red thread, if you will, that runs through. If you look back over your career or your history, where you've had success, you tend to find this superpower showing up and your ability to leverage it. And my question to you is, what's one of your superpowers? Because I'm sure you have more than one. And did you always know about it, or did someone bring it to your attention that it was a superpower of yours?
I think very probably two superpower here. So thinking about movies and probably a superhero there. So think about Captain America. Um, it's all about the courage to make the transformation. It's all about taking this conversation to the next level. That's one of the things I really like to do, right? And that's really we're in the middle of a transformation, like we're mentioning. The partner incentive were there for over 23 years. The partner program was there for even longer. So making these transformations takes a lot of courage. And I'm very happy to be with a team where they all have a superpower. And it's super nice to see that everybody is working together, including our partners. So they definitely have that as well. And the second superpower that I was actually not really someone pointed out to me, you're right on that, was my capacity to take a very complex topic and to simplify in chunks. And when we talk about the transformation of that scale, again, 30,000 partners on a company doing more than 90% of the business with our partners, touching the incentive is actually really, really big one. And I took a very pragmatic approach with my team and leaders, really taking step by step and to develop that. So yeah, bringing the complexity and making it easy to understand, I think that's one of my superpower. And often my team are telling me that. So I'm very proud of that one because I don't make it and I feel it's a genuine activities on that. So yeah, really happy about that.
Well, I can amplify. That is definitely one of your superpowers is taking complexity and simplifying it. And I'm going to steal simplify in chunks. That is a very visual way. And then the first one is just the courage to lead through disruption and transformation. And Indiana Jones, take a step back. We're putting Fred in the leading role in this, and I love it. Nobody better. Fred, thanks for joining today. I know I have a better understanding of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And it's thanks to you. And I appreciate your leadership. And I know I'll speak for both of us in the trust that our partners have shown us through this evolution can't go unnoticed. And both of us are just incredibly grateful, just as I'm grateful for you spending the time today and walking us through this story of change and evolution and courage, and most importantly, profitability and the ability to meet the moment. So, Fred, thanks for joining Shift Happens. Talk soon. And that's a wrap on this episode of Shift Happens. Remember, change doesn't wait, and neither should you. So take what you've learned, put it into action, and together, let's go make shift happen.